Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the land of flying fish. I hope the fish still flies. And cuckoo. Permit me to recognize Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, President, I like saying this, of the Republic of Barbados. My sister and friend, whom we are all proud of, Honourable Mia Amor Motley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Barbados. Distinguished colleagues, heads of government of the Caribbean community, CARICOM. I will pause a little bit to say, as still a newbie and a new kid on the block, that I became a member of CARICOM as a skeptic. I haven't left as yet, but I'm a full convert. And I will even go so far as to say that I've become a bit of a zealot when it comes to CARICOM. And that is as a result of the unwavering dedication, commitment of the leadership of CARICOM to the people of CARICOM. I wish to recognize some of our specially invited guests who has been, in the case of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, a friend and solid partner of CARICOM and small island developing states during his tenure. So Secretary General, welcome again to another CARICOM Heads of Government conference. I wish to recognize, sitting next to you, and welcome her to Barbados, and welcome her to her first CARICOM engagement. If I'm a betting man, I will say it will not be the last. Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission. Welcome. I see in the audience distinguished invitees who have supported CARICOM from the time I became a member of the Bureau during my tenure, and I see them here in person, and so I know they intend to continue working and supporting CARICOM under the distinguished leadership of Prime Minister Motley. And so I wish to recognize Outgoing Commonwealth Secretary General, who's with us, Baroness Scotland. I recognize in our midst the Honourable Ahmed Hussein, Minister for International Cooperation and Development from Canada, who's with us today. Minister, again, thank you very much for coming. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the third CARICOM conference that you're attending, Guyana, Grenada, and now Barbados. I think that shows your personal commitment to this region, and we are deeply appreciative. I believe I am seeing the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia with us. I believe he was in Guyana as well. And so I, again, express our profound gratitude for having you with us. I recognize the President of Frexim Bank, Professor Benedict Urama, who's with us. And I think his presence signifies the deepening ties between the continent of Africa and its diaspora, the Caribbean. And my sister just came from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and I'm sure she will tell you a bit more of this in her address to you. I often wonder why they ask the outgoing chairman to speak, especially when we have a chairwoman who is as distinguished and capable as the Honourable Mia Motley. But I think in my case, the old people in Grenada have a saying, be careful of what you ask for. And in my case, I asked for the chairmanship of CARICOM in July of 2024. And on the commencement date of my chairmanship, the islands of Grenada, CARICOM, Petit Martinique, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and eventually all the way up to Jamaica, was struck by a Category 4 hurricane, the strongest and earliest of such storms to have ever formed in the Atlantic. We were forced to cancel the CARICOM Heads of Conference meeting in Grenada. But to the credit of my dear colleagues in CARICOM, within weeks, they remobilized and descended on Grenada, and we were able to host the conference within less than a month of the passage of the hurricane. If there is one single response that demonstrates the theme that we are looking at, strength in unity, forging Caribbean resilience, it is CARICOM's response to the passage of Hurricane Beryl over Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and other islands in the Northern Caribbean of Jamaica. It is that unified response that gave the people of Grenada, CARICOM, and Petit Martinique the resilience that has allowed them over the last several months to rebound, and to rebound stronger, better, and more determined to confront the existential threat of climate change. And so when I said in September at the United Nations that we in the Caribbean are living in a lab, we are living in a lab, and we are being experimented on with the consequences of climate change. It is not a movie. In fact, no movie can replicate the kind of damage and destruction and emotional trauma and stress that our citizens and citizens elsewhere face when climate change and the negative consequences of it descends on them. But we are resilient. We will rise. We will continue to fight. We will continue to advocate. And we continue to offer our partnership and friendship on this issue. And I repeat, on the issue of climate change, we are not asking for mercy. In fact, we are not asking for sympathy. We are asking for partnership. And make no mistake about it, we have one planet. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'm not going to live on Mars. And so it may be the Caribbean islands today, or the islands in the Pacific tomorrow, or Spain, or New Orleans, or Australia. It is one planet. And we are simply asking for partnership in tackling the challenges of climate change and in protecting and sustaining the lives, the livelihoods, and the cultures of the people who are most prone to the devastating impacts of climate change. We are in Barbados. If you don't think Barbados is worth fighting for, or the Bahamas is worth fighting for, or Dominica is worth fighting for, then I don't know what is worth fighting for. So I will not bore you with the details of the accomplishments of CARICOM under my tenure, save to address a few items. Under the distinguished leadership of President Ali of Guyana, CARICOM devoted enormous resources, time, and effort in supporting our brothers and sisters in Haiti. And that continued under my chairmanship, and it will continue under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Motley. We are aware that some in the international community may be suffering from what is called Haiti fatigue. But until and unless we accept that a large part of what has happened in Haiti is not the doing of the people of Haiti, we in the CARICOM will not accept or encourage or support Haiti fatigue. Our brothers and sisters in Haiti deserve the right to life, to liberty, to decent healthcare, housing, education, and to the preservation of their culture. Because make no mistake, Haiti symbolizes the revolution that changed this part of the world. Had it not been for Haiti, the idea that one human being could own another human being as chattel slavery and put him to work for their profit may very well still be persisting. And so we owe it to that island, all of us who are freed, the descendants of freed men and women who fought for their freedom, to ensure that we continue supporting and advocating for the partnership and the support to bring Haiti back from the brink. Your Excellency, Ursula von der Leyen, I don't mean to be impolite, but I will say to you, therefore, that the issue of reparations for the transatlantic slavery and the enslavement of African peoples and black bodies, as my comrade Ralph likes to say, is an issue that we will take up with you. And we are doing so in the hands of partnership, and we are doing so in the cause of humanity. Because as long as we do not openly and explicitly reject the idea that one human being can own another human being, we run the risk that that idea may somehow take root again and be allowed to flourish and happen again in the world. And so as descendants of people who fought for their freedom from chattel slavery, we owe it to ourselves and to future generations of humanity to ensure that the transatlantic slave trade and the enslavement of Africans in the Caribbean, Latin, Central, South, and North America is accepted as a crime against humanity, and that the appropriate apology and compensation is paid, and that the international community accepts that this should never happen again. I have no doubt that my sister, Prime Minister Motley, will say it in perhaps more passionate and more explicit language. I conclude by emphasizing, as you heard from Barbados' youth ambassador, this is not a time for slow, incremental tiptoeing around the many issues that confronts us in CARICOM, in the region, and in the international community. This is not a time to allow for might is right and for the powerful and the wealthy to say that they can take what they want, when they want, where they want, or how they want. So as small as our populations may be, as small as our land masses may be, the international order that recognizes the right of each individual and the sovereignty of each country, regardless of its size, to be able to take part in a rules-based international order based on universally accepted human rights must be defended supported, advocated for at all times. CARICOM didn't get to where it is today by retreating, by going meekly into the night, or by not standing up and advocating for what is right. We have done so in the past, whether it's to support our brothers and sisters in South Africa in the fight against apartheid, whether it's to continue in our calls for the lifting of the embargo against our brothers and sisters in Cuba, whether it's in the recognition that our brothers and sisters in Palestine deserve the right, like everyone else, to live peacefully. We should not, at this pivotal moment in humanity and in the world's history, de-emphasize the role of our unity, our advocacy, and our contribution to the continued growth and development of mankind. Thank you very much. It was my honor to serve as CARICOM chairman.